Welcome back to Still Here, Still Trying. Mike's in the studio tonight, surrounded by glowing screens, unfinished projects, and that one guitar that insists it's perfectly tuned. He's been talking to machines again, says he's exploring the intersection of empathy and technology, which roughly translates to, I got emotional in Photoshop again. He also mentioned he's working on his imposter syndrome. So, big things ahead. Personal growth, artistic breakthroughs, maybe a few extra therapy bills. Tonight's episode dives into art, AI, and what it means to stay human while everything around us keeps upgrading. There's a Degas quote, some reflection on invisible pain, and enough philosophical seasoning to make your coffee taste smarter. So settle in. Power down the doom strolling, and let's see if the humans and the robots can actually make something beautiful together.
Hello again, friends. Welcome back to Still Here, Still Trying. This is episode 18. It's going to be a good one. Hey, before we get started, I just want to say thank you. The messages and comments after that last episode, Human First, they really hit home. And it sounds like they hit home for a lot of you too. So thank you. But hearing how many of you connected with that idea, it reminded me what this space is for and what we're building. We are building something honest here, something human. And speaking of that, I have been blown away by how many of you have asked about the Human First t-shirt. So I'm going to make sure that there's a link in the show notes for that. Man, let's build the world up with Human First t-shirts. That's going to be incredible. Those messages on the back. It's really cool. It started as just like a small creative side piece from the Human First album, a way to get the message out into the world, but it's turned into this really cool shared statement. So don't miss out. And, again, who would have thought that just a t-shirt could make the world a better place? So what a cool thing. But anyway, every time I see people talking about it or, the comments that people are ready to put in their orders, it just feels like a kind of a quiet anthem that we're building towards something really cool. So Human First in the middle of all of the noise, the tech, the change, that's the thread running through everything that we're doing right now and right here. Okay, well, that brings us to tonight's episode. We're going to call this one Seeing Differently, Art Beyond Vision. It started with a quote from Degas that I saw a while ago, and I've always loved it, but it says, art is not what you see, but what you make others see. And I feel like that's such a powerful one. That one line opened a whole new doorway for me, especially as I've been working on my own imposter syndrome in this space. Like, I never thought I'd be having a podcast that I would have art and doing an art show here in the next little bit and releasing music. Like, those were all things other people did. I didn't ever think I could be in that space. And I know that the way that I create right now is different, and there's other people out there that don't love it, but also this is how the world is right now. And, we're all supposed to talk about, like, what are we going to do with the gifts that we have? So tonight we're going to talk about, like, where that path led, how empathy, not ambition, pulled me into the world of art, music, and AI. We're going to talk about how I started using technology to help people see invisible pain and how that turned into a new kind of creative voice. We're also going to look at the bridge between leadership and art and how building systems and building stories aren't that different when they're both rooted in care. And toward the end, I'm going to share the heart behind my new visual series that I posted on social media, Human Machine Light, a reflection on how we stay human in a digital world. So by the end of this one, my hope is simple, that you'll see creativity not as performance, but as empathy, that you'll feel inspired to use whatever tools you have, your voice, your hands, your story, to make the world a little brighter, a little more human. All right, so settle in. Let's talk about vision, love, technology, and what it really means to see differently. So, that idea, seeing differently, really started long before this episode, long before I ever thought of myself as an artist. Some of you already know a bit about my daughter Samantha and her journey with endometriosis. We've talked about it on this podcast before, and I won't go too deep here, but watching someone you love live with that kind of invisible pain, it changes the way you see the world, especially when you are a mom, a dad, a fixer. It 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 broke me. It broke me, and it really forced me to do things differently. It makes you realize how much we miss because we only look at what's visible. I wanted people to see what she and so many others were living with, not in a clinical way, but in a human way. And that's what led me to the first series of AI portraits I ever made, the EndoWarrior images. They were raw, emotional, and honest, and the reaction to them was incredible. It actually started this whole global reach that I had with my Endo Dad page, where it introduced this new world to me, where I saw all of these other people suffering in silence and feeling left out. Messages started pouring in from people, all over the world, women, partners, families, saying that's what it feels like. Those images gave shape to something that had never really been seen before. And shifting it into this shift where we see people in our families. I see my daughter, I see my wife, I see all of my endo warriors out there. I see them as these fierce warriors battling this terribly insane disease, and they have to get up every single day and face the pain and fight the war. And the images that I was creating, the EndoWarrior images, it was all about just creating that visual cue, so that you could look at that in the morning, and even though when you look in the mirror you don't see it, we all see it, and we're right there rooting for you. That connection between art, empathy, and awareness, it pulled me in completely. I loved it. And I realized that AI wasn't just a tool, it was a translator for the kind of emotion that's really hard to put into words. And that's where it began for me, not in necessarily ambition or trend, but in love. And that sense of purpose became the foundation for everything that came next. I started creating because I wanted people to feel seen, but somewhere along the way, it also helped me feel seen. It reminded me that art isn't just a mirror, it's a bridge. And that's where Human First really started to take shape, not as a slogan or a song title, but as a way of living. A reminder that no matter how advanced the tools become, empathy is still the point. That experience, I don't know, that experience cracked something open. And once it did, I couldn't stop wondering what else I might be able to express if I stopped holding back and started creating freely. Once that creative door opened, everything started to move really fast, like really fast. I've lived with ADHD my whole life, and we've talked a little bit about it in different podcast episodes. And I try to be really open about it because it's me, it's a big part of me. But for me, ideas never arrive one at a time. They show up in waves. And half the time, I'm chasing one thought while another's already sprinting ahead. It's like trying to catch lightning with bare hands. For years, I'd have these moments, melodies, sentences, images. And by the time I reached for a notebook or even thought, like, hey, could I play this on a guitar? They were gone, and that can wear you down. And it definitely wore me down. I hit a wall. I'm like, I'll never be that person. Like, I try to draw something, and I can barely draw a stick figure. It's terrible. But as that wears you down, you start to wonder how much you've lost to the blur, right? And it creates that spot where you're like, man, I saw something really cool, but then over time it just becomes blurry and you move on to the next one. And so when I found these new creative tools, AI, digital design, instant composition, stuff that finally moved at the same speed my brain did, for the first time I could actually keep up with myself. An idea would spark, and within minutes I could turn it into something. It could be a lyric, it could be a painting, it could be a sound, it could be a story. It felt like finally catching my breath, like my mind and my hands had found a rhythm together. Now, that doesn't mean it's easy. ADHD still means I live in a world of tabs and tangents. My brain is like a massive chaotic space of sticky notes on the wall. I think they're organized, but if you looked at them, you'd be like, "What in the hell is happening here?" Right? That's just kind of where I'm at. But those tangents, they start to connect. But creativity kind of became my way to start to make sense of it all, to slow the chaos just long enough to pull something beautiful from it. And that's what I love most about this part of my creative life, if we want to call it that. I don't have to force structure anymore. Actually, I love structure, and I've been able to build some really incredible structures in my business space. And around this podcast on my art, structure's incredible, but I don't have to force that structure. I can kind of just follow the energy, capture it, and let it speak, and then rely on the structure to help me get it to the finish line. So AI did not replace my creativity. I think that's the most important thing that I want to get out there, and I want everybody to understand. AI did not replace the creativity that was already here. It gave it room to breathe, and it helped me translate what's inside before it slipped away. And that truly changed everything, because when you finally have a way to bring your ideas to life before they disappear, you start realizing how much wonder was hiding inside the noise all along. When people ask how I moved from leadership into art, and not that I stopped leading, right? But when I started to blend these things into my world, I usually tell them that I really, like, I never left one for the other. I just started speaking the same truth in a different language. For most of my life, I have been a builder. At Heritage Health, that meant creating systems, programs, clinics, teams that help people live better, not just get better. And every decision came back to connection. How do we build something that makes people feel seen? How do we make sure that we are creating opportunities to just become human again? When I started creating music, writing, and art, that same question followed me. The only thing that changed was the medium. Leadership builds structure and empathy, and art gives empathy a voice. And both of these things are acts of hope. At first, I thought this creative work was something separate, kind of a new chapter, a side project, another ADHD tangent. But over time, I realized it's all part of the same thread, the same heartbeat that drives everything I've ever done. Creating art and leading people both ask for courage, both require you to imagine something that doesn't exist yet and then believe in it long enough to bring it to life. In the boardroom or the studio, it's the same energy. You start with a blank page, a team, or an idea, and you trust that something good can grow from it. This is where the optimism side of me really kicks in. You listen, you shape, you refine, and you believe, and you believe, and you believe, and you work, and you work, and you work. And you hope that what you build will help someone feel less alone. That's the bridge that I stand on now between builder and artist. I'm not choosing one over the other. I'm just learning to let them inform each other. Because when I bring my creative heart into leadership, the work gets more human. And when I bring my leadership mindset into art, the work gets more intentional. It's all the same mission, to leave something better behind. The more I create, the more respect I have for the artists that came before. The painters who spend months layering color until it breathes, the songwriters who live with one line for weeks until it finally feels true, the sculptors who shape what they see in their mind into something you can touch. There is something 100% sacred in that kind of patience, in the repetition, in the discipline, in the devotion to the craft. When I started experimenting with AI, I didn't want to lose that reverence. I didn't want it to feel like I was skipping the work, because the truth is, the work is the point. AI doesn't replace craft, it joins it. It gives it another tool, it adds another dimension. The painter has a brush, the musician has an instrument, and I have these digital tools that can translate emotion into form. But the heart behind it, it's the same. It's still human hands guiding the process. It's still trial and error. It's still emotion driving every choice. When I sit down to create, I think about the lineage that I'm stepping into, from oil paint to film cameras, from analog tape to digital sound. Every new medium has carried forward the same question: what does it mean to be human? And AI just let me explore that question in new ways. It's a brush made of code, a canvas made of light, but it still needs soul. It needs someone to care enough to make it mean something. And that's the part I never want to lose: the quiet discipline, the long hours, the heartbeat behind the work. Because no matter how advanced the tools get, art is still a human act. It's still love that has been brought into existence. It's love that's been made visible. If you look back, every generation of artists has faced the same moment. That feeling that something new might destroy the thing they love. When cameras were invented, painters panicked. When synthesizers showed up, musicians said real instruments were over. When digital editing arrived, photographers thought authenticity was gone for good. And yet, art never disappeared, it evolved. The tools changed, but the heartbeat stayed the same. Each disruption pushed artists to seek something different. It pushed them to see differently, to ask harder questions, to find new ways of showing what it means to be alive. That's what's happening right now with AI. It's not the end of creativity. It's another chapter in its story, another brushstroke on the canvas of what humans can express. Technology has always scared us a little because deep down we know that progress asks something of us. It asks us to grow, to adapt, to stay true in a faster world. But the thing about art is it always finds its way through, because art isn't about the tool. It's about the hand that guides it, the emotion that drives it, and the story that it's trying to tell. When I sit down to create, I think about that. I think about the painters who feared the camera and the musicians who feared the drum machine. And I imagine them hearing what we're making now, how their courage back then made space for what's possible today. And that's the thread that connects us all: the courage to keep creating when the world is shifting beneath our feet, when people are criticizing every single thing that you do. I have had my fair share of people that just absolutely hate and detest what I'm doing because it's not real. It's not art. I'm an imposter, and I get it. I feel that imposter syndrome every single day. I'm doing my best, but also this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to use these tools to make the world a better place. Art doesn't vanish when the tools change. It transforms. It becomes something new, and maybe in the process, it becomes even more human. All of this, the empathy, the art, the learning, the evolution, it led me to a new creative space that I've been exploring called human, machine, and light. It started as a visual series, but it's become more than that. It's a conversation about what it means to stay human in a digital world. Each piece in the series is built around that tension: the circuitry and the spirit, the data and the soul, the pulse of light that runs through both. When I look at these images, I don't just see technology, I see emotion translated into form. I see empathy learning a new language. And that's when I wrote the line that now feels like the thesis for everything I do. The future of art lives in the space where human and machine meet. That is not about algorithms replacing artists. I think it's really about what happens when curiosity and compassion share the same canvas. When we let the machine help us see what's already inside us. For me, the series Human Machine Light isn't about choosing sides. It's really about finding balance. It's about remembering that even as the tools evolve, the heart behind them doesn't have to fade. I've seen how these digital tools can magnify what's already human in us, good and bad. Our empathy, our imagination, our desire to understand each other. They can also distort it if we forget who's holding the pen. And that's the real test of this moment: to stay awake, to stay kind, to stay human, even while everything around us accelerates. When I create inside that space between light and code, between heart and machine, it's funny, I feel connected again, not to the internet, but to something older and deeper. That part of us that's always been searching for meaning, always been trying to turn feeling into form. And that's where the future of art really lives, right there, in that space between what we build and what we feel. So, so here's where I've landed after all of this deep reflection. Every creative moment, every song, painting, poem, or act of courage starts in the same place, with someone deciding to use what they have right where they are. That's what the EndoWarrior portraits taught me. That's what Human First reminded me. And that's what Human Machine Light keeps teaching me. That the point isn't to be perfect, it's to participate. You don't need fancy gear or a perfect plan. You don't need permission. You just need a spark and the willingness to turn that spark into something real. So whatever you have, use it. Your hands, your words, your voice, your story. Write something, build something, say something kind, make something honest, because that's how we stay human in all this noise. We keep creating, connecting, and showing up for each other. And if you do that, even in the smallest way, you're already part of the art. All right. Well, I think that's probably enough for tonight. I want to thank you for spending this time with me. This episode, Seeing Differently, Art Beyond Vision, has been a full circle moment in lots of ways. From the first EndoWarrior image to now, I keep learning that art isn't about what we see. It really is about what we help others see. If something here connected with you, I'd love for you to share it. Please tag me, tell a friend, start your own conversation. Be sure to leave a comment in the wherever you're listening to this. Like it, comment it, share it. Um, Start those conversations and tag me in it. Let me into it. Let me join your space, join your conversation. Let's have these debates. Let's get into it. Because that's how these stories grow. Through people like you who still believe that empathy can change things. You can see the full Human Machine Light series and read the blog that inspires this episode on my website, MikeBakerHQ.com. It's the Canvas and Chords blog. And if you haven't yet, check out the Human First t-shirt. The link will be here in the show notes. I'll also have it on my website. I want to say, I think it's something more than a shirt. I think it's a reminder of what we're building together. So, until next time, keep creating, keep caring, and please keep seeing differently, because we're still here and we're still trying. Have a wonderful week. All right. Well, thank you again for hanging out and being part of this conversation with me. I'm going to send you out tonight with a song it's different than probably what you've heard. It's actually an older track. This one was inspired by my friend Nick Smoot here in Coeur d'Alene. That guy's incredible. But this song is part of an album, and it was all inspired after a text message I got from Nick that just threw my brain into like this insanity mode, and I built out this entire album in like a 36-hour period, and it was really cool. So the song is called Primal Code. Listen to the lyrics; it really matches what we were talking about tonight. Really that intersection of AI and art and creation and all of it. So enjoy it. You can find the episode on all of, or the album on all of the streaming services that are out there, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, all of that jazz. So check it out. Again, this song is called Primal Code. Enjoy.
This ain't no machine, no 9-to-5 dream. It's primal, it's so fucking raw. It's the heartbeat unseen. They told us to grind, just keep in line. Code your life perfect, don't waste no goddamn time. Optimize, prioritize, make it clean. But what's a man when he's just a machine? Lost the sun, locked in these screens, chasing the glow of impossible fucking dreams. But I'm done, I'm breaking free. This rhythm inside is calling me. Let's fucking go! Feel the fire in your chest, let it take control. We're creatures of the earth, not wires and code. We're breaking out, we're wild, untamed. Feel the blood in our veins, can't be contained. It's primal, it's messy, it's who we are. Not machines, we're burning stars. It's a drum beat, heartbeat, feet in the sand. Built to thrive with the earth in our hands. We're not ones and zeros, we're chaos and flow. Messy and real, let the wildness show. Move with the sun, rise with the tide. Feel the bass drop, let instincts guide. No algorithm can mimic this drive. The untamed power of being alive. It's the touch of the ground, the pulse of the air, the crack of the fire, the primal stare. The rhythm of life, it's all we need. A heartbeat stronger than any machine. We're breaking out, we're wild, untamed. Feel the blood in our veins, can't be contained. It's primal, it's messy, it's who we are. Not machines, we're burning stars. We're not coded, we're not designed. We're wild, untamed, one of a kind. Feel the rhythm, feel the flow. And being human, we